Babe, let's be real for a second, yeah? How many TikTok hacks, TikTok like glow up routines or cute planners or you trying to be disciplined, how many times have you done that and then ghosted it after like what, 3 days? Maybe a week even. How many times have you said to yourself, do you know what? This time I'm going to be serious. Like this time I'm actually going to do this. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to stick to what I said. How many times have you actually done that? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you lack discipline. It's not any of those things, right? You are literally trying to change your entire life and change your wiring when you don't even know what your nervous system archetype is, okay? And I'm gonna tell you this, darling. The reason why it doesn't stick is because you don't know exactly that. You don't know what your nervous system archetype is. Once I knew what my nervous system archetype is, everything literally changed. Like the routines that I was trying to implement, they actually became doable. At this point now where I'm at, I'm not fighting against myself anymore. It's literally not me fighting against my nervous system. I'm working with my nervous system to actually get this shit done. And that is what I want for you too. So, what exactly are nervous system archetypes? Okay, they like, in the most simplest way possible, it's the way that your body, your mind, etc., your entire nervous system, which includes all of it, reacts to change, reacts to stress, reacts to you trying to implement this new thing, do this whole glow up. It's the way that your body tries to keep you safe, and it is literally the reason why you keep self-sabotaging and why your glow ups tend to flop. It's because your nervous system, your body, your mind, etc., is trying to bring you back to what it thinks is safe for you, even though you're trying to do something positive for yourself. Like, girl, I'm literally trying to change my life here. Your body is saying, no, we're not used to this. We're not used to these changes. We're not used to you now waking up at 5 a.m. and doing this new thing. So I need to keep you safe. So I'm going to put things in place to bring you back to what I believe is safe. That is literally your nervous system. And there are 5 main nervous system archetypes. So what are they exactly? Okay, the first one is something called a hyper-vigilant achiever. If you are a hyper-vigilant achiever, you are basically always doing something. You're always grinding, you're overworking, you're doing things because you feel bad about slowing down. You literally feel bad about being unproductive or taking rest. You literally chase like perfection, outside validation. Like I said, you always need to be doing things. You literally chase perfection, external validation, all of that. But girl, that burnout is real, okay? You are amazing when it comes to making things happen, but you can often forget that you can actually be and you are worthy, etc., without having to actually do something. Then we have the intellectual freezer. So this is for my girlies that love to plan. You love to plan things. If you get a new idea or something new that you want to do, for example, when it comes to like your glow up, you are that girl that is like, yes, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You're planning it out. You're writing out the whole like to-do list. You're creating your tracker, your da-da-da-da. But then when it comes to actually doing the stuff, you very rarely actually start, or it's harder for you to start because you feel like you need to organize everything. You feel safer in observing rather than actually participating. You feel safer when you're analyzing and you're figuring things out instead of actually doing. And normally when it comes to your emotions, you don't want to feel your emotions. You would rather use logic behind your emotions. You're brilliant, you're strategic, you're cautious, but the downfall is that your brain can almost sometimes become like a cage for you because you can't get out of that. So the next one is something called an avoidant dreamer. So you love the idea of things rather than the actuality of them. You have big dreams, you have fantasies, you have all of these big goals, etc., etc., but actually going for them, like, nah, that's scary. You avoid any discomfort. You're constantly questioning like the what ifs, the what if this happens, what if that happens, I want to do this, but what if? You are constantly questioning things. And sometimes this can lead you to actually disappearing from your own life. Like when things get too much and these goals and these dreams, etc., that you have, it gets a bit too much and you're so in your head, etc., etc., you can actually end up just disappearing and abandoning completely, whether that be yourself, your friends, your relationships, etc. You can end up just abandoning things. So you are literally wired for freedom, imagination, all these possibilities, etc. But girl, you actually need to just show up for yourself. That is your biggest problem. The showing up for yourself is the hard part. Then we have something called the shame-wired realist. So you feel things deeply, but you have so much like shame when it comes to things. You have shame around what your actual desires are. You have shame around your own feelings. You have shame about the things that you want, to the point that you might start to think that it's too much. You probably end up downplaying what it actually is that you want in life, for yourself, in your relationships, in your job, etc., etc., because there's so much shame around wanting more for yourself. You also have like a fear of judgment. You fear being too visible, being too seen. You fear being judged by other people, to the point that you know you want to be unapologetically your authentic self, but you just feel like you can't do that. And then we have the fragmented sense of self. Now, the reason I get so thinking about that one is because this is my dominant nervous system archetype. So with a fragmented sense of self, you basically adapt based on what environment you're in, what people you're around. You have like these different versions of you. So you're someone that around this particular group of friends, you might act this certain way or present this certain way. Around this type of group of friends, you act differently. Around your family, you act differently. Like, you're constantly shifting what your identity is based on who you are around or the environment that you're in. And this can lead to you kind of like losing yourself in other people's expectations. You do it so much, like you're literally like a chameleon, that you yourself don't actually know who you are. You yourself don't actually know maybe what your beliefs are, what aesthetic you like, what this, that you like. Like, you don't know, because you have been wired to just conform to and adapt to, like I said, literally the environment that you're in. So, did I just call you out? Yes. But good, because now you are able to literally see the reason why things haven't been working out, the reason why you always self-sabotage, the reason why you try to do things but you just can't seem to do it for whatever reason. Now, I want to ask you something, and I need you to be real with yourself. Be real with me just for a second. Do you actually want to be her, right? The version of you that's confident, that's consistent, that's unapologetically like living her dream life? Or are you going to stay stuck in the same place you've been for years, literally repeating the same patterns and calling it trying? Because here's the truth. Without knowing your nervous system archetype, you're basically guessing. You're basically having to guess how you're going to implement this glow up, how you're going to implement this new routine, how you're actually going to change your life. But when you know what your nervous system archetype is, when you are aware and you know how your body tries to sabotage you, what happens to you when you're feeling stressed, when you're trying to implement this new thing, how it happens, why it happens, you are literally given like basically the manual to change your entire life. So going on from that, I created a nervous system archetype test so that you can actually figure out what your nervous system archetype is. From what I explained, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, but I do this and I do that and I do this. Yes, you can probably see yourself in every single nervous system archetype, because it's not like you're either this or you're either that. It's a spectrum, right? We have a order. You have like your dominant archetype, you have a secondary one, you have a tertiary one. But without actually being able to figure out what it is for yourself, you're constantly going to be guessing and dipping into this and dipping into that. That the healing journey and you actually sticking to what it is you said you were going to do when it comes to becoming her, that girl, all of that stuff, like I said, is going to be guesswork. So basically, use the test and find out what your nervous system archetype is. With the test as well, I also give like a quick way that you can start to heal that particular archetype. If you don't know what the issue is, how can you solve it, right? It's like having a medical issue, but you don't know what's causing it. how are you then going to be able to fix it? Like, you need to know what's causing it in order to be able to make change. So once you know what your nervous system archetype is, you can actually make that real change in your life. And then on top of that, and for the girlies that are like serious about this, they want to change their whole life, they want to improve and have that glow up in all areas of their lives, I also created a guide. It's called Girl Bye to the Old Me and Hello Her, because literally, girl bye, we are going into the her era. But it's literally like 50 plus pages covering everything. It includes the test, and it also includes how you can rewire your nervous system depending on whether you're trying to change your physical appearance, your aesthetic appearance, your health, your money, etc., etc. Like, it literally covers everything. And not only that, because one thing I will say, normally when we're following like these glow up routines or whatever, they are general advice. They're not targeted to you and what will actually work to you. Once you do the test, which is in the guide, you figure out what your nervous system archetype is. Whatever domain you're trying to fix, even if you want to do all of them, there are specific steps that are related to whatever your nervous system archetype is. So if you have a fragmented sense of self like I do, and you're trying to work on your physical appearance, it literally tells you how to work on your physical appearance from your nervous system archetype if you are someone that is a fragmented sense of self. And then on top of that, girl, because another thing I will say, and I say this in the guide, when you frame something as like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna do this for like 30 days, your brain literally thinks, okay, this is temporary. So we might do this, but it's not actually gonna make a change. You need to know that you are changing your self-concept, your identity. And yes, it includes a 30, 60, 90-day plan, but it's not okay, I'm just gonna do this for 30 days and then stop it. It literally breaks down how you can start to implement this into your life so that it's not just another, oh, I'm just going to do like a 30-day challenge or a 90-day challenge or whatever. We are literally changing our lives from the inside out, starting with our nervous system. So girlies, I am going to leave you with this question. Are you finally ready to become her?